Sister Mary Margaret and I are going to begin with sharing a little bit about the history of how we got here. But first, my few lines about this are in this way. You'll see in each of our houses, you haven't been to the other one yet, you'll see not only pictures of the Visitation, which we kind of went through last night, but also of Francis and Jane. They're in the dining room, and they're in the living room in our other house. Yes, we are, like you, part of that larger Salesian family. We're kind of like the older sisters in the family. With that, we all have the one motto, live Jesus, and we can even sing it, which we won't do right now, which we will on Thursday. We will, but not today. But the same person who wrote that song also wrote the music that we did sing last night for night prayer, Father Marcel Rooney. We ourselves, in keeping with just the power of our spirituality of living Jesus and the expression in a contemplative way of Mary's visit to her cousin Elizabeth, which is, after all, the way that we live out that Salesian spirituality here, we felt drawn over a period of many years to give new expression to this spirituality, to this visitation way of life. But the three of us in St. Louis who were first considering that, mostly in the light of the Pope's invitation to all religious communities, especially those in first world countries, to choose the poor for a preferential, we call it the preferential option for the poor. And we wondered, what does that mean for us as Sister Mary Margaret, Virginia, and I coming from St. Louis Visitation, Sister Mary Frances from Mendota, Catherine from Mendota, Sue coming out of her own context of Salesian spirituality in Michigan. What did it mean for us to do that? That is something we pondered in many ways for many years, and Mary Margaret is going to tell you a little bit about that. But something in hindsight that I often go back to are two quotes, one from Jean Vanier, the founder of L'Arche, the L'Arche communities, and he said, religious life is very simple. To love God, and not just religious life, but a life of the Christian giving. It's to love God and to help the neighbor. Now, people have been saying that for centuries, but I guess because he did it in a different way with his large communities, how do we express the visitation way of life, that caring, that saying yes to God in our own life, to be a bearer of Jesus in our own life and share that with the neighbor? That is what we were pondering and praying about for many years. Sister Mary Margaret will tell you in more detail. And then the other piece that goes with it is, how in that do you, in the context of your place, geographic place, how does that influence the way that you live? I think that's a very significant thing, at least for me. How we see the world depends on where we're sitting, where we're standing, where we're looking. So we were for many years in St. Louis. Yeah, Francis, thank you for turning off the phone. How we did that and how we came to discover that there might be another way for us, I hand over to Mary Margaret.